20 things you missed in Goldfinger. Every movie has either questionable sequences and stuff that you miss, especially for your first time viewing the movie. Well, today we're going to put a golden hue on this topic and give you 20 things you missed while watching Goldfinger. Hi, this is Dan.
And Tom.
Your field operatives cracking the code of spy movies for you every week. This should be a fun one. All right.
And don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, or whatever your platform allows. You can help us out with their algorithms so that more people can find out about this channel.
Absolutely. All right. So let's decode 20 things you missed in Goldfinger. We'll start with the pre-title sequence where, number one, we see Bond squeezing out the plastic explosives onto the nitro tanks, right?
Yeah, he seems to be kind of in a hurry here, Dan. I mean, he's trying to like get in and get out, and he's squeezing the stuff out of the tube. Now it took some time to do that because he was squeezing it out. But it did lead to a great sound effect with the sound of that stuff squishing out.
It did. But it totally unnecessary to squeeze it out of the tubing. It would have blown with a fuse stuck through the tubing. So here's Bond, the spy in a hurry, squeezing it out. Now, was it more dramatic? Yeah, probably more dramatic. Necessary? No. And that's the point you need to make.
And that is a good point. Now, again, it does give us that great sound effect, though, which, that's one of my favorite Bond sound effects, is the sound of that thing coming out.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. And, like you say, people missing it, I didn't catch that. It's like, he didn't really need to do it that way. He could have just draped the stuff over the top of the things and let it go.
Yeah.
All right. So now the next one is, we're still in the pre-title sequence.
Yeah.
Behind James Bond, we see a Pepsi sign on the wall over his right shoulder. It's when he's taking off that wetsuit.
Yeah.
You just have to love product placement. And it's so just kind of there. And we're going to talk about another one of these a little bit later. You have to wonder, what did Pepsi have to pay just to get that sign on the wall in this James Bond movie?
That I think most of us missed.
Oh, absolutely.
Till now, we're helping out Pepsi here, and they're not even a sponsor.
It was there. It was in the background, and boom.
All right. Now, the third one we're going to talk about is something Bond says. And you watched Goldfinger a whole bunch of times, and it's easy to miss when Bond is in bed with Jill Masterson after they screw up Goldfinger's game. And when they're kissing and fooling around a little bit, and Felix phones Bond and he asks if he can go to dinner. And Bond says,
"Oh, look, I'm sorry. I can't. Something big's come up."
All right. We got this size quip in From Russia with Love, too, but it's easy to miss that one here.
Why is that so funny, Dan? What am I missing?
Yeah, exactly. All right.
That's a good one.
Let's go to number 4. When Q is showing Bond his new car, the Aston Martin DB5, the license plate is BMT216A. Of course, we all know that.
And we get that on when you go to trivia quizzes. A lot of times you do the bar trivia quizzes. That's a common question.
Yeah, but in the Saint episode, entitled The Noble Sportsman, made in 1964, by the way, this same Aston Martin, with the exact same license plate, is in that episode, season 2, episode 17. It was painted Dubonnet red, though, but it's the same car, same license plate.
Okay, I'll give you it's the same license plate, but how do you know it's Dubonnet red? It's black and white.
Yeah, because I did my research. It's Dubonnet red.
Well, the other thing,
it was a nice color, by the way.
The other thing that was kind of, when you put those things side by side, the rear view mirrors that are kind of ahead of the windshield or ahead of the windscreen on Bond's car.
The side view mirrors.
Yeah, the side view mirrors. They're not there on the car in the Saint. So I thought that was interesting. So
they made a lot of changes, of course, to the car. They changed it to the silver. What is it?
Silver birch.
Silver. Yeah. All right, let's get on to number 5. When Q is showing the features of the Aston Martin, he tells Bond,
"Now, pay attention, please. Windscreen bulletproof, as are the side and the rear windows."
Well, that's good. He's a spy.
It's nice. Hey, if I was driving that car and I was a spy, I would want to have my windscreen, side windows, and rear windows bulletproof as well. I'd like the body to be bulletproof too.
But then he mentions the bulletproof shield that pops up above the trunk or the boot, right?
Now open the top and inside are your defense mechanism controls. Smoke screen, oil slick, rear bulletproof screen.
Why is that needed when you have bulletproof glass back there? That's kind of weird.
Well,
I never
okay,
understood that.
It's bullet resistant. It's not bulletproof. And you've seen the thing where you keep firing at the same spot and eventually the glass may give out. Well, putting the shield up gives you an extra layer of protection.
Yeah. And in reality, there is no such thing as bulletproof glass. It's all plastic, actually. All right.
That's true.
Let's move on to number 6.
All right. So for number 6, we have a shot of when Bond is in the room with Jill when he first gets there.
Yeah.
And she says to him, "Who are you?" And then there's a shot from the balcony overlooking the pool area at the Fontainebleau. Mm-hmm. And you see that area as he's looking down, and you're going like, "Oh, that's a really nice pool." And there's people milling around and stuff like that. And it's easy to miss if you look to the right-hand side towards the top of the frame. There's a table down there. These people are really, really small. But you've got a guy in the same outfit that Goldfinger's wearing and the same outfit as his pigeon is wearing, the blue shirt, down there. They're really tiny and hard to see. But it's really nice that they're giving you, hey, this is where they're playing this game. Because in a second, they cut to the shot of them playing.
Yeah, it is in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You can see that. And actually, I think it's a poor representation of Goldfinger. It doesn't look the guy doesn't look as big as Goldfinger. But anyway,
well, Dan, you're looking for so high up, they all look tiny.
They attempt to put it there, which is okay. But you got to look in the right corner because there's only a few tables. Anyway, all right, good. Number 7. Bond was bonked on the head by Oddjob. We know that when he was in the room with Jill. The bottle of champagne.
Yeah, so when he goes to the refrigerator and tries to get another bottle out.
Yeah, when he's trying to get another bottle of champagne, and he makes a comment about the Beatles and the earmuffs and all that kind of stuff. The bottle of champagne, after he gets knocked out, is on the floor right behind Bond's back when he falls.
No, that kind of made sense. You watch it, it rolled kind of back towards him.
Yeah. But when he awakes, it's about 3 feet from him behind his back, or right by the refrigerator.
Well, it's possible while he was still out, he rolled and the bottle flipped back. Well, okay, that's a continuity error.
Yeah. And I actually think there's a couple of things in the refrigerator that have been moved, too. I don't think Oddjob took a snack.
It didn't look like it.
Yeah.
All right. So since we're talking about continuity, another one is there's the scene in the office, and, initially Bond would throw his Trilby hat onto the hat rack. Well, here, Moneypenny tosses his Trilby onto the coat rack or the hat rack, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And when it lands, it's on the far hook to the right side, covering the view of Africa on the map. It's almost the farthest point away from the door it could be. Mm-hmm. But then Bond turns and goes and picks up the hat from the closest hat hook to the door.
Yeah.
So it's seconds opposite.
Later.
Seconds later, somehow the hat decided to fly across the rack from one, or maybe just the rack turned. Who knows?
Yeah.
I would say that was another continuity error, which is
that's a good one, and easy to miss, but boom, it happens like in a few seconds. All right. Now we have when Bond is meeting Goldfinger in the golf shack where they're going to go golfing.
Yeah, when they're talking to Blacking. No, that's really the pro shop.
In the pro shop where they're talking. And Bond is chatting. Behind him on the wall is a Slazenger promo poster. And it's even stamped 1964. Of course, Slazenger, as we know, plays a big part of the Goldfinger con on the course that Bond pulls off.
The ball you found, sir?
Yes, Slazenger 7. Let's have a little fun with Mr. Goldfinger.
So this is an important piece, but then, hey, more product placement. And there it is. And I haven't paid attention to that before. I'm watching Bond, I'm watching Goldfinger, and boom, there it is.
Well, the thing that's cool about this is this really, I believe, really is a pro shop. And the funny thing is when Goldfinger's standing there talking to Blacking, you see a thing for Dunlop golf balls.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Bond with the Slazenger behind him. But Bond played Penfolds. It was Goldfinger who played the Slazengers. So I just thought that was kind of like, okay, well, that's an interesting placement because it kind of made it look like, hey, I'm James Bond and I'm playing these balls, but he's not.
No, he's not playing those balls, but yeah, Slasnier obviously is key to the whole con game. All right, now look at when they're golfing and then Bond drops the gold bar onto the green to impress Goldfinger. We see him standing there 1 second, and the next second, the bar is dropped. Where was he keeping that? There was no time for his caddy Hawker to be walking up to him and bring him this, and he could have had it in his pocket the whole time, but boop, there it is.
Well, we're going to talk about him having things in his pockets that don't seem to fit.
Yeah,
it's like how that
true.
happened in a little bit too. But
yeah.
in this scene, so you had said when we were talking about we were going to do this episode, you said something. Oh yeah, where'd that gold bar come from? I watched this scene like 15 times, really slow. And you see him put his hand in his pocket. And you're thinking that's it, but then when he pull back, his hand's still in his pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It miraculously appears.
It was the hand of God.
Yeah. All right. Number 11. Oddjob showing his cunning with his hat, the bowler hat. Goldfinger says, hey, let's teach Bond a little lesson here. Give him a demo of what you could do with your hat. And that's where he lops off the head of the statue there in front of the golf club.
Yeah, I like the way Goldfinger does that. He touches his face with his finger and then points at the thing.
The brim of his hat. Boom, he goes like that. Yeah.
And then Oddjob just throws it.
Yeah. And you see it flying off to the right after it strikes the statue.
Yeah, like goes right through the statue like butter and then just keeps going.
Yeah. And then a few seconds later, we see the hat and the statue's head fall to the ground right at the base of the statue. Impossible. But there it is.
Yeah, that's one of those things you're gonna miss it because it's like, oh yeah, I'm watching. I'm into this. This is good.
Yeah.
All right. So for number 12 here, Dan, when Bond is observing Goldfinger on the road, remember when they're driving through the Furka Pass in Switzerland, and we see where Goldfinger stops and gets that fruit and eats the fruit.
Yeah.
And Tilly Masterson's there, and we get this shot from up on high, where we see Bond's car. And we see the roof, and it's pristine. It's gorgeous. But there's one problem. There's supposed to be an ejector seat in this car. How is that going to work? And when he got the car from Q in the lab, you could actually see the cutout where the ejector thing, the roof would fly off, and the ejector seat would work. So he gets the car from the Q labs, and somehow magically the roof gets restored.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
There's no cutout for the roof for the ejector seat in this shot. That's
and you
for
see
sure.
that, and you see when the ejection happens in the movie when he takes that goon and sends him out.
He does.
See the goon flying and the top of the car flying.
Supposed to be the same car, the same DB5. All right, number 13. When Bond is spying on the Auric Enterprise building, he is in a suit. And he's got binoculars, and he's checking things out. And it's really about 10 seconds after that or so, we see him dressed in this dark suit, kind of like dark pants and a shirt with a backpack and so on. So he made a quick change there. Of course, he's Bond. He can do stuff like that. But from a suit to this kind of like almost sweatpants and sweatshirt kind of thing with a backpack while he's watching the Auric Enterprises building. Okay,
Boom. Dan, I'm going to stop you here for a couple of things here. So first is that backpack is the same backpack he had in the pre-title, right? Because it had these blue straps. But if you notice what happens there, he looks at his watch when he's in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they fade into him in black, he looks at his watch again. It's gotten dark outside, so it's much later. So you think that looked kind of like, hey, what's going on here? To me, we saw the transition of time with looking at the watches, and he went out and came back and had a better outfit because now, okay, I've scoped it out. Now I've got my mission outfit on. So
sure. He went back and changed, right, for his car. There you go. He could have done that.
Because Bond often does that.
All right. Now, number 14, I think this is a really important one. And again, you could watch this 20 times and not see this. When Bond is observing Goldfinger presenting his plan to the mobsters, and Bond is under the model of Fort Knox looking through the window, we all remember that, he writes a note to the CIA, and we see him simply and easily place that note wrapped around the Homer device that he had in his shoe into his right suit pocket. Nice and flat, boom, right in there.
Yeah, it was a very nice suit.
Yeah. Then, maybe about a minute later, Pussy Galore tells him to give the gun back because she pulls his feet out from under him. Remember? That was a great moment.
Yeah.
And then she tells him,
The gun you took.
and he took it from the guard in the cell, as we recall, and he pulls this big gun out of the same pocket that he had placed the note in.
So
No
when he
way.
fell down, he just picked up a gun.
No way. No way that he had the gun in there the whole time. I mean, he had the gun with him.
It seemed like he was struggling to get the gun out too.
Yeah, he did. That's how big the gun was
It was
in his
kind of like,
pocket.
okay, maybe,
Not
maybe
happening.
not.
No.
All right.
All right.
Now, number 15
Mm-hmm.
is one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when they go to the metal crushing place. When Oddjob shoots Mr. Solo, when Solo's in the back of the car,
Yes.
he shoots him. He drops the car off to get crushed. We see the claw grab the car. It moves it into the crushing unit. You've got a
Yes.
great view inside that vehicle. And there's no Mr. Solo there.
He disappeared.
He disappeared.
You think they would have put a dummy in there at least or something, you know?
Yeah,
Like, come on, give us a break. But no.
the incredible disappearing Solo.
Yeah, he's gone. And you and I have been to that crushing plant.
Yes.
It's in Miami.
And I would not have wanted to have been a car while it was
Florida.
crushing.
No.
It's outside
no,
of
no.
Miami, yeah.
Yeah. And Mr. Solo wasn't in there either.
No, we missed him.
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of shots too where you can look into the car there. It's like, no, there's no Solo.
No.
And don't say he's on the floor. There isn't. He's not there. All right. Let's look at number 16. Pussy Galore's Flying Circus is about to spray the Delta 9 nerve gas, which we know will kill people, not just knock them out. And the squadron leader does the countdown. I love this. Remember, she does the countdown, then she says the baby is asleep. She says,
5, 4, 3, 2, 0.
what? Wait a minute. What happened to number 1?
What's missing? Well, and there's no gap there. It's not like she went 5, 4,
No.
3,
No.
2, 0. It was just the next number should have been 1.
Anyway, you will smile when you hear that next time. All right.
And again, easy to miss it.
Yeah.
All right. So another weirdness here in this movie, and you probably didn't catch this, is our number 17. So when the assault on Fort Knox starts, and it seems like it's pretty warm outside based, people are sweating and stuff.
Yeah.
And the helicopter that arrives that has Pussy and Goldfinger in it.
And the bomb.
And the bomb.
Yep.
And Goldfinger is wearing this heavy brown coat. And it looks totally out of place. It's like the weather's wrong for this. What he's doing, it's wrong for this. Why the heck does he have this brown coat on? Now, we do find out later, but at first you're missing why he had it until later in the movie.
Yeah. There was absolutely no reason why he had it on at that moment, according to what we're looking at. It's like, what the? But, at the time, you think, okay, hey, he's getting out of the thing. He's got this coat. And I would think it's more of a goldish, more color coat. Because if you notice, every time you see Goldfinger, he's got something gold or yellowish on the entire time. Even towards the end, he's got a gold gun. So he's Goldfinger. He loves gold. He loves only gold. All right. Now, number 18. This is a good one. The bomb is counting down, and we see it. I think in the first time we see it, it starts at 3 minutes and 54 seconds or whatever. But the first time Bond looks at it, it's got 2:54 left on the clicker. Now, we think that means 2 minutes and 54 seconds, not 254 seconds. That would be confusing to try to count down for that. But anyway, it's 2:54 on the clock when Bond first looks at it. Wow. That's not a lot of time. Well,
No.
for
not
the
at all.
2:54 to click off the timer on this nuke. It took 6 minutes and 53 seconds.
Wait, you mean there was another continuity problem in a James Bond movie?
A lot of action was going on in between that. We all kind of felt it. Like, come on, yeah, that thing should be a lot. Well, it's a big difference. It took 6 minutes, 53 seconds. And when the counter stops at 007. So that's a long time. But, hey, that's a gap. Well, it's like, oh, we accept it because it was fun. We saw a lot of good stuff happening. But it took 6 minutes, 53 seconds to count off 2 minutes and 54 seconds.
Yeah. And even for those of you who think that it's seconds instead of 2 minutes and 54 seconds, you think it's 254 seconds. It's still, the math doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah. So either way you see it, everything I've looked up online says that it's supposed to be 2 minutes and 54 seconds. But
yeah,
if you are thinking it's the other way, we're still talking about the same anomaly in the movie where the time is not in sync with the timer.
Yeah.
All right. Number 19. It's Oddjob throwing his hat again. We're going to talk about that. And when we first saw it at the golf course, he takes that hat, he throws it, clean hit right through the statue, no problem at all.
Severs the neck. Boom.
Then a little bit later, we see him kill Tilly Masterson. She's running, so he even had to lead her.
In the dark.
In the dark. He had to throw it a little bit ahead of where she was, and he was dead on accurate.
Yes.
But then we get this guy who's a master of throwing this hat. Dead eye, no problems at all. He's in a building, no wind, no nothing. And he has 2 big misses throwing his hat at Bond. And Bond wasn't exactly doing a tumbling routine or anything.
No.
I mean, and the one where he hits the electrical wires, that was a huge miss.
He missed by about 20 feet.
Yeah. So that to me was one of those, the first time you threw, you see it, you don't really notice it. And then you're like, wait a minute, he was so dead on with this thing. How can he be this bad inside a building?
Willing suspension of disbelief. Ha ha. All right, number 20 and our final one. And here's something that we think is, once you notice it, you'll notice it. And when you're not paying attention to it, you don't pay attention to it. We talked about a disappearing man in Mr. Solo. Now we're talking about a magically appearing man here in this final scene.
I know where you're going with this one.
Now we know Bond is on his way to Washington, D.C., right, to meet the president, to thank Bond for saving the day, even though he didn't disarm the bomb or anything. This is at the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, and he's aboard a U.S. plane. But then Goldfinger is on board, and Pussy, too. And we know what happens. Goldfinger fires a gun, gets sucked out of the window, and is playing his golden harp. But look, wait, there's this guy in the aisle of the plane. Who is this guy? And where did he come from? Out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Mr. Solo disappearing. Here appears to be an appearing guy.
Yeah.
You know, so what happened here? So this guy was standing behind Goldfinger when the curtains opened. You barely see him. You just see a sliver of him.
When he's coming out from the back of the plane.
When he's coming out from the back of the plane. And so if you're watching the video, we're slowing it down here so you can see this a little bit easier. Then when the fight ensues and the plane is plummeting, all of a sudden you see him rolling on the ground behind a seat, one of the chairs that is in the plane. And again, he disappears from view. You don't see him in any of the other stuff.
Not in the fight. He's not doing anything.
And then all of a sudden, boom, he's like the champagne bottle that moved after rolling. He rolls back into the aisle. Apparently, you don't see him roll, but he's back in the middle of the aisle. And so this is one of those that, first, you might miss that he even was there.
Yeah.
At all. And then if you see him, you're likely to have seen him laying in the aisle going like, who is this guy? Yeah. And then you probably missed the first 2 times you would have seen him.
Yeah. So check that out next time you're watching that one. Who knows?
My guess is there was a bigger fight. And like him ending up on the floor of the airplane, most of his fight scene ended up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, could be. All right. Of course, that was before we had DVDs and streaming, and you could stop action and look at every scene in detail like we do. And Luciana Paluzzi said,
I think you're analyzing this to obsession.
Yeah, we are.
And we hope you enjoy it.
All right, we did 20 things you probably missed in Goldfinger. Let us know if we missed some. All right, That's going to be a wrap of our 20 Things You Missed in Goldfinger. This has been Dan
And Tom.
of SpyMovieNavigator.com on our show, Cracking the Code of Spy Movies. Please subscribe to our show right now. We'll wait. Thanks. We appreciate you spending time with us.